Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're diving into something that literally impacts every single one of us every single day: communication. But we're not just talking about firing off a quick text to a friend. We're looking at the big leagues: workplace communication. Seriously, the words you choose and how you deliver them, they can literally make or break your professional path. They can turn a super simple chat into a massive misunderstanding, or if you play your cards right, they can be the exact thing that lands you that absolute dream job.
All right, picture this to start us off. Have you ever sent a really thoughtful, maybe kind of long message to a coworker or a friend and all you get back is just the letter K? Or maybe just fine? Oh man, just getting that probably gives you that relatable little spike of panic, right? You instantly go into overdrive wondering, wait, are they mad at me? That right there is a textbook example of how a tiny one-letter response can trigger a massive misunderstanding, all because it's completely missing those crucial emotional tone markers.
Now let's crank up the stakes from a simple text message to an absolute real-life disaster scenario. Imagine walking into a highly competitive job interview. The hiring manager reaches out to shake your hand, and instead of a solid professional greeting, you just blurt out, "Hey, what's up?" Oh, ouch, right? Just thinking about it makes me cringe. Using that kind of ultra-casual greeting in a high-stakes professional setting is pretty much a guaranteed way to completely bomb the interview before you've even taken a seat.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the power of first impressions.
Okay, let's really dive into this and compare a couple of approaches. On one hand, you've got something like, "Oi, let's hang out after class." And on the other, "Good afternoon, may I ask a question?" I mean, look at the night and day difference here. The first one is super informal, perfect for your buddies or peers. But the second one, that's structured, it's formal, and it shows a ton of respect. If you mix these up, like if you say oi to a potential boss, you've totally failed to read the room and your first impression is basically toast.
Moving right along to Section 2, language and tone defined.
First up, let's talk about personal language. This is basically expression that's totally focused on your own inner world, your emotions, your opinions. It's super subjective. You'll notice it leans really heavily on first-person pronouns, I, me, my. It's exactly the kind of language you'd use if you're writing in a journal or just venting to your family after a long day. It's totally natural. But crucially, it's very informal.
On the flip side, we have interpersonal language. This is the more structured communication we use for social interaction, for building working relationships, getting tasks done, or just operating in any kind of formal setting. It's packed with polite expressions and respectful requests. You can think of interpersonal language as your ultimate toolkit for any professional environment where cooperation and mutual respect are the main goals.
So, the whole thing basically boils down to this key takeaway. Language is the actual system of words you use. It's what you say. Tone, though. Tone is the attitude or the emotion behind it. It's how you say it. Like, you can use the exact same words, but if you do a massive eye roll while saying them, your tone just entirely flipped the meaning upside down. To really master the workplace, you've absolutely got to master both the what and the how.
Which brings us to Section 3, red flags in interviews.
Okay, put yourself in the hot seat of an interview room right now. The pressure is totally on. Let's look at some massive red flags. If I'm sitting here talking to you and I'm kind of slouched way back in my chair and I'm just like, yeah, I guess I'm pretty good at stuff. Do you hear that? The slouching literally drags my vocal tone down, making me sound totally checked out. Combine that lack of energy with casual slang and an obvious lack of prep, and you are basically telling the interviewer you don't respect their time at all. These are absolute deal breakers that will guarantee a rejection.
Now for the good stuff. Section 4, green flags for success.
This is where we see what a truly successful candidate looks and sounds like. Check out these green flags: solid eye contact, a confident tone, and professional language. Notice how my voice naturally kind of sharpens up just talking about it? When you sit up straight, hold steady eye contact, and use crisp, formal, interpersonal language, your tone organically shifts to become warm and confident. You're instantly broadcasting confidence to everyone in the room. That is exactly what makes you incredibly hireable.
And finally, Section 5, context changes everything.
Now, knowing all these definitions and flags is awesome, but applying them out in the wild is where the real magic happens. So, I have a little challenge for you. Think about this incredibly simple phrase, "nice to meet you." It's literally just 4 words. But I want to show you how context completely rewrites the entire meaning of this sentence through something we'll call the tone swap.
Imagine saying "nice to meet you" to your absolute best friend who you haven't seen in months. Your face lights up, your volume goes way up. It's just pure energy, right? Okay, now take those exact same 4 words and imagine saying them to an intimidating, very serious job interviewer. Suddenly, your posture straightens up, your voice drops a bit, and your delivery becomes super measured and polite. Same exact words, but an entirely different physical delivery and meaning, based entirely on who is in the room with you.
What's really fascinating is how this plays out in a stressful workplace or, say, a tricky group project. Imagine a coworker is really falling behind. If you come at them with a blaming tone and snap, "You're always late, we can't rely on you," well, you've just instantly triggered a wave of defensiveness and drama. But what if you use a helpful tone? Something like, "Hey, is there anything I can help you with so we can get this finished?" You're addressing the exact same problem, but this tone is team-oriented. It builds trust, it fosters cooperation, and most importantly, it actually gets the job done.
So, to make sure you're always hitting the right notes with your language and tone, I want to give you a quick, incredibly practical 3-step mental checklist. Right before you speak, just take a breath and ask yourself, number 1, what's my goal? That's your purpose. Number 2, who am I talking to? That's your audience. And number 3, what's actually happening around us? That's your context. I promise you, running through this simple checklist right before you step in an interview or fire off a tense email is going to save you from so many professional headaches.
As we wrap up the explainer today, I really want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to chew on. If you were the interviewer and you had to sit and listen to your own default communication style, your tone, the words you naturally pick, would you actually say yes to hiring yourself? It's kind of a tough question to answer, I know. But honestly, evaluating your own personal green and red flags is the absolute best first step toward mastering professional communication. Thanks so much for hanging out and learning with me today, and keep practicing those skills.